Okay, we'll go ahead and start. Good evening to the Board of Education, Mr. Rigda, Mr. Stevens. In keeping with our monthly updates at the first board meeting of the month, we have one again this evening for the New Elyria High School. Our agenda...
The videographer. I'm sorry.
I thought you were talking to me.
I blocked his view.
Our agenda this evening, we're going to do a recap like we usually do of the events since our last October update. John's going to talk about where we are in the timeline overall, and we were glad to see that Mr. Rigda did use our schedule.
Yes.
We're also going to talk a little bit about the detailed schedule of the existing properties and what we are proposing for schedule relative to the abatement of the residential properties and also the demolition of those properties. Tonight in your package you should have an auditorium program of requirement phase submission, and it is similar to the one that we had in the past for the building, and Katie and I are going to go over that in some detail. And then we're going to finish up with a November and December 2007 look ahead so that we know what's going to occur over the next 2 months. And Scott Wagner, our day-to-day project manager, will go through that. Okay, just a recap of the events to date. We always leave the May 8th, 2007, very significant date of the bond issue being passed. In July through September of 2007, we primarily were working on the program of requirements, which is complete. In October of 2007, we started with a primary focus of Architectural Vision Group beginning the schematic design phase. On the 24th of October, we were a participant, and we being the core team, Regency Construction, Architectural Vision Group, and the school district. And we participated in a business-to-business expo at Lorain County Community College relative to, we had a breakout session about the New Elyria High School and information about that. We talked about timeline, how we might package the project in terms of bid packages, approximately when those would be out for date, how we were going to continue communicating to bidders, and we also talked about EDGE participation. In the months of October and November, we will continue to conduct our core team meetings, and the core team once again is the construction manager, the architectural firm, and the school district. And we will also be continuing our hazard material assessment, and we have approximately 15 more homes, residential properties, that are available to us to do that. On November 1st of this month, we completed the auditorium program of requirements. Again, we're going to go through that tonight. On the 2nd, we had our executive partnering session, which is a requirement when the Ohio School Facilities Commission teams with a school district. We have to have an all-day facilitated session where we talk about what our roles and responsibilities are primarily in the project and how we will conduct ourselves as a group throughout. We have an initial site survey that's been completed. Our residential abatement bids are due this Friday, November 9th. And on the 10th, we will be drilling a hole to determine the geothermal conductivity, and that is relative to the opportunity the district might have to use that type of heating that would lend towards credits for this to be a LEED certified building. Our laser survey in the existing buildings will continue with a company by the name of True Design, and we are working on and actually have started the OSFC and school websites so that they will be linked for the community to be able to see what is going on in the project. And with that, John, I'll turn it over for timeline.
Well, one of the things we're going to do with this schedule throughout the life of the project, consider this as like the barometer on the project. If you notice, one of the things that continues to change here, and Superintendent Rigda used this in his presentation, but I'm happy to say that he used the old version. This is the new and improved version, because every time we complete tasks per the schedule, that little arrow at the top continues to move to its right. And every time we complete a package or a set of activities, they will be yellowed in. So ultimately, the community and us will be able to monitor how the project's flowing. This is the overview schedule, and I think I still want to highlight a little bit. The stars up there are when we are going to be previewing the design of the new high school with the community. That's one of the promises that this entire body made, and I think that, as you can see, at shortly after Christmas, we'll be unveiling what the new high school will be what it looks like to the overall general community. In keeping with the development of schedules, just to give you an overview, you're not going to be able to read the next schedule in its detail, but this is the detailed schedule format that we utilize to monitor the abatement, demolition, and backfilling of all of the properties that we're about ready to start. Once the abatement contractor gets hired Friday, he goes in, abates each one of the homes. Reichert will be out there demolishing the home shortly thereafter. We'll be there monitoring the backfill of the soil of the basement so that the building can be built right on it. But this is the sort of detail schedule we'll be producing for every segment of the project. So in the future, not only will we be reporting on our barometer schedule so that we can see how we are generally, but you can rest assured that we're going to be monitoring the project through a detailed schedule like this that is not only dollar loaded, but it's manpower loaded. So we know how many folks are going to be working on the job site. We know the expenditure of the dollars per the activities. So it's a pretty intense program. Oops.
Tonight, you'll be asked to pass a resolution for the program of requirement phase submission for the auditorium portion of the project. And one of the reasons that the reason that we separated this out from the building program of requirements is because this is a locally funded initiative. So the one major difference in the documents that you're going to see tonight, primarily on the certification and approval, will be the signatures. And the OSFC will not be signing this program of requirement. However, the balance of the team members will, the construction manager, the architect, and the Board of Education. So we will still be certifying and approving for incorporation into the overall design. The next screen shows the checklist, and that should be a very familiar sheet to you. It is the same one that we used for the building program of requirements, and we